The next thing I wanted to speak about, and this is the fourth, is to have a wealth building plan. So I would like to ask you a little bit more of a personal approach to this. You have your hands in a number of different projects at any given time. You're entrepreneurial, very creative, don't need personal information and stuff like that. But could you talk about your wealth building plan, because you have several business interests, including a real estate investing portfolio. So when you look ahead to, say, 2020 or beyond, we're coming up towards the end of 2019 as we record this, how will you kind of address your wealth building plan? Do you have a business plan for yourself? Do you, how do you approach that, given you're an entrepreneur just like lots of the people that you and I interact with day in and day out in our profession?
Well, since you and I last talked, I solidified a hard lesson. I am not, in spite of all my efforts to the contrary, Thomas Jefferson. I'm not a polymath. And I've learned, therefore, I read the book, The One Thing, I read The Pumpkin Plan, and I focus on my practice. I used to do a lot more in terms of the real estate. The real estate has become more passive, but my ability to be passive has gotten greater because, A, I have so many clients in there that they do some great deals, and sometimes they need fast, flexible money, that I've been able to basically find deals that involve less of my time. So I've gotten a lot more passive. I do stick with the real estate. It's what I know. So with the real estate, I've gotten more passive, but I still get very good deals because my connections and my network have grown. And that's where I'm going to continue to focus my efforts. I've paid the price in blood, sweat, and tears to learn that industry. And so in spite of where the world goes, or maybe because of it, I mean, right now we're selling and have sold most of what we bought in the crash, and we're starting to get heavier into cash and in the shorter-term investments, maybe some hard money loans here and there, preparing. Because at some point, the financial feces is going to hit the rotating blade device, and I want to be sitting on cash when that happens. Now, granted, their ability to kick the can on this has truly amazed me. But that's kind of where we're at. Add to it my move to Puerto Rico. My tax rate on my practice is about 6%, federal, state, and local combined, because of the special status of Puerto Rico as a territory. So I have far more disposable income than I had just a year ago before I moved down here.
All right. So that's great. John, thank you for sharing. And I think at this point, let's take a time out, end the first of the two-part series here. And listeners, please tune in next week for episode number 46 of season 3 to listen to the remaining discussion that John and I have about the 7 wealth building rules. In the meantime, please check out my website, www.elliottwealth.com. If you're not a client, please sign up for our complimentary initial meeting. And as I always ask, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. Thank you. I'll be back with you next week with a continuation of my discussion with John.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of SagePoint Financial Incorporated and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Please note, the information being provided is strictly as a courtesy. When you link to any of the websites provided here, you are leaving this website. We make no representation as to the completeness or accuracy of the information provided at these websites, nor is the company liable for any direct or indirect technical or system issues or any consequences arising out of your access to your use of third-party technologies, websites, information, and programs made available through this website. When you access one of these websites, you are leaving our website and assume total responsibility and risk for your use of the websites you are linking to. Securities and advisory services are offered through SagePoint Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Insurance services offered through Elliott Wealth Management, LLC, not affiliated with SagePoint Financial.
Simply Financial is part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can find Exvadio podcasts at exvadio.com/podcast, the Apple Podcasts app, iTunes Store, iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find podcasts. So join us and stay informed and entertained.